Did you know the Game Boy Color had a hidden feature that lets you deconstruct how some classic games were made? There are two different types of objects in a Game Boy game. Sprites are objects that move, and backgrounds are, well, backgrounds. The original Game Boy's graphics are limited to just 4 shades of gray. It's not just a limitation of the screen, but of the actual hardware itself. Backgrounds can use all 4 values, but sprites could only use 3, because one of those is reserved for transparency. The Game Boy treats these objects differently, even though when playing a game normally, ideally everything feels like a single cohesive world. When playing classic games on the Game Boy Color though, cracks start to form. Since these old games weren't made with color in mind, but the Game Boy Color was, the system will automatically choose from a handful of pre-made built-in palettes to display the game's objects in, with backgrounds and sprites always using different colors, to give these classic games a bit more punch than they originally had. Since these objects have completely different color treatments, we can now easily tell which is which, though that wasn't always the intention the game designers had at the time. Here in Super Mario Land, for example, these falling objects are sprites hidden in the ceiling of the level. On the Game Boy Color though, these sprites are now a different color than the walls, so you can easily see this trap coming. It's like in a classic cartoon where something in the background is going to animate so it's cel-shaded instead of painted. While the Game Boy Color is booting a classic game, you can actually use button and D-pad combinations to set the game's color palette to whatever you want. If you hit left plus B, you'll actually set it to its natural monochrome, so you can play the original Game Boy games as intended, with sprites and backgrounds once again blended together. Now, the traps work as intended.